It's interesting because like I started making videos when I was 11, so my entire life is on the internet, right? And like my puberty, every development and stuff. And I look at that our old podcast and like it is so like brutal. Like I have borderline like autism on like this one subject, and it's like I was so one dimensional back then because I was just young and I'd only ever done one thing. It's just so interesting because it's like if someone were to theoretically search Mr. Beast Joe Rogan and they, if they clicked on either one of these podcasts, it'd be two completely different experiences.
Right.
Because,
well, you look differently.
Yeah.
I mean, you look great, man. I was saying before the podcast, you look fantastic. You lost weight. You look really healthy.
Thank you. Yeah, I was telling Joe before the podcast I lost 50 pounds between the last one and this one.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and last time when you would ask me about movies or you asked me about South Park, all these things, because I was listening to it on 3XP on the car right here, every single thing I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, one thing and one thing only. I know YouTube. And I was like, I know nothing else. And I blocked everything else out of my world, which is interesting because I actually think that wasn't a positive, right? I think if I consumed more other mediums and culture, it would have been better inspiration. I would have been a better storyteller. So I actually don't think it was a good thing, which is why I've like since then opened up and like I let more things into my mind.
If I could push back on that though, I think it allowed you to be hyper successful because you were so focused on it that I think it really worked out to your benefit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I think that the hours put in, yes, but it's like instead of consuming 4 hours of YouTube a day, allowing myself to occasionally watch a movie, I think I would have been more tapped in and understood how to tell stories.
Well, you were younger, and that's a part of the process.
I know. It's just so funny listening to that podcast because I as myself, I watched that. I was on the car. I was like, wow. I like seem like borderline like a freak on certain things here. It's like you would like change the subject on certain things, and then I'd instantly bring it back to the one thing I knew, like YouTube data, and like I could like tell that I didn't even know, and I would just be like, oh yeah, that thing. Anyways, retention, and it was just so funny listening to it. But it's just interesting though because I'm sure you see like a lot of your podcasts you do. Most people consume it through clips on social media, right? That's like their exposure to it. And
most people consume most things through clips.
Yeah, and what's fascinating though is clips don't have context on the time range, right? And like so like whatever a clip from the podcast we did years ago, I'll see on my feed or it'll just randomly start going viral. One of them now, and like sometimes it'll be things that like. I've grown up or I don't like necessarily agree with or whatever. I speak differently. But because they're not like time stamped, it's like interesting because a clip from something you did years ago can randomly go viral now and people won't even know that it's like years ago. And it's so fascinating because they just like pop off. And it's like more people are going to listen to this podcast through like random clips, probably 10, 15 times folds than like actually going on Spotify or wherever you post it, iTunes.
Yeah, probably.
And it's so interesting because that's like the new form of culture, especially for younger people, is sub 1 minute-ish vertical content, that they swipe through the feed.
But it does inspire people to listen to the whole thing. And only a certain percentage of them will do that. But it's like that's a thing with sporting clips. Like you see the game-winning touchdown, you watch that. Probably gets watched more than the actual full game.
I saw a survey of like 56% of people now prefer to watch a sporting event through clips as opposed to like the actual thing. Like they'll just get on their feed.
Well, I guarantee you that's the case with like the UFC. Because I know for the UFC, when they analyze the performance of a show, like how many people watched it on Paramount Plus versus how many people consumed it on TikTok, Instagram.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's many-fold. It's like, they get hundreds of millions of views on social media. Yeah. Of different,
I haven't watched
fights,
the fight live in a while, but like, the White House one, I mean, I saw everything on my TikTok feed. I mean, I probably saw 150 clips of it. So I have like a relatively good grasp of what it looked like and what happened, but I didn't watch it live, So.
If you wanted to watch that one live, really, you should have been there. Like, that was when you really absorb how bizarre it was to actually be at the White House. It was very bizarre. The whole thing was very surreal. Like, me and Daniel Cormier and John Anik, there were so many moments, like, the day before the event where we're rehearsing. Mm-hmm. So we're standing by the octagon. I made a video of it where I put it on DC's, like, the White House. What the fuck? And, like, I'm showing the White House. There's the cage, and then the White House is right there.
Yeah, and the flyover and everything.
Nuts.
But see, that's how, when I was telling you about the Roman Coliseum before, that's how I felt. Yes. But I didn't get the, like...
Well, they were going to do Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in the Roman Coliseum, but it was going to cost $150 million just to secure the venue and set everything up.
I mean... I could have hooked him up.
Also, it would have been a terrible fight.
Yeah. Eli would have been destroyed. It would have just been a clown
He thinks
show.
he's big, and so that's going to be enough. But Mark knows how to fight. Mark is like really into it. He trains all the time. I mean, he's obsessed. He brought this guy that I know, Dave Camarillo, who's a world-class coach, who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, judo black belt, has been training him. Like, he's training with
he's very
hardcore
obsessed.
people.
Well, because I don't think he'd care if I told the story. Like, the first time I talked to him years ago, like, we just shooting the shit, chatting, and then, like, at the end of it, he's like, yeah, you want to come train MMA or whatever at my lake? And I was like, no, but I appreciate the offer. But it's just like instantly like that. I could tell that's like his way of like bonding and building friendships. And he was being very serious. Like he wanted to roll, and I've never done that in my life. And I was like, I'm good,
he invited me to go bow hunting with him.
So it's definitely not fake. Like that was a one-on-one conversation.
Oh no.
I know you know that, but a lot of people think he's just like puts on the facade or stuff. But like unironically, like our first time meeting, he's just like, yeah, let's hang out. Let's do like go roll on some mats and stuff. Like he was being dead serious.
The way you could tell that it's not fake is watching him train, because there's no way he could be that good if he's not actually putting in the time.
Yeah.
Because I watch even his striking, his jiu-jitsu, all that stuff is like it's clear. There's many hours been spent working on technique to achieve this level of proficiency. I mean, he doesn't look like a world champion or anything like that, but he looks like a guy who's training a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way you can't be enthusiastic about it and be doing that. So he's definitely really into
every
it.
time I listen to whenever you have a podcast and you talk about the UFC and stuff like that, it always makes me like I feel that masculine urge to like go train and do it, but it's like I wish I could fork my life and have like one where I keep going down this path of just grinding 18 hours a day and building all these companies, and then another where I could like pursue fun stuff like that, and like because that would be fun. Like
how old are you, Jimmy?
28.
Yeah, you're still so young. You could just do this for another 10 years and amass so much money that you could never spend it. And then 10 years from now, just slack off a little bit on that and just go do a bunch of stuff. And not only that, you could create content doing a bunch of stuff. Like Mr. Beast discovers the world. Like you could do anything, man.
Yeah, I think
you're so young. Like you have so much time ahead of you.
Yeah, it's hard to even I think you like as humans we like build the patterns and stuff, and I've been working so many hours every day for so long that it's like like literally like ingrained in me that it's hard to ever really imagine a world where like it shuts off, because you have to think like I started when I was 11, so basically now all I really do is just work, whether it's building companies or making content, and like another 10 years from now that would be like essentially 20 years straight of like training my nervous system of like this is what you do all day, every day, like constantly being war mode, obsessed with it. So it's hard to envision a world where I could ever shut it off. But
you know what's interesting? You and I have been doing it about the same time. Like we started this podcast around 17 years ago.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it'll be 17 years in December. I think so, right?